For many people, making their business simplified is actually the hardest thing. And in actually trying to simplify things, they actually make things more detailed and obviously harder, more cogs, more challenges, more problems. Let's get stuck in right now and let's make sure we know exactly how we can best simplify to multiply. Have you noticed that as a business grows, it actually slows down its ability to adapt? It slows down the avenue to be able to change, to pivot. There's that dangerous word, and to be less agile as a net problem, challenge, opportunity, etc. with growth. Well, here's the thing. We want to be able to grow and we want to be able to make sure that we get as much benefit as we can. We have more time, more money, more freedom, more impact to the lives of people in the community around us. But as we grow, what we always have in place is more systems, more complication, more avenues that need to be more agile, more opportunity to slow things down, more team members, more staffing issues, more clinic, more equipment failures, more clients that need, etc. It gets more and more and more convoluted, challenging, complicated, and ultimately there is a much greater avenue for things to take longer to change, for things to actually be, less agile. All of these things happen all the time, and it is the biggest cause of how a business can stunt its own growth. But I've got to also put in here, one of the biggest challenges that people in the health and medical industry actually get all the time is the fact that they constantly get told that they need to have systems in place. They need to have, more efficient and effective procedures in place. They need to now use this model. Then they need to add this. Then they need to add that. Now they need to do this. But what about this over here? And so we constantly get shown all of these amazing success secrets for people that are doing something that's different. And as a net result, there's a lot of FOMO out there with people in business. And health business owners then turn around and go, oh, I'm missing out on such and such that's great. And so as a net result, they divert their attention, probably not at the best time or for the right reasons, and start to drill down really heavily into these other areas, into someone else's success area. Social media is a great one. If someone was to go out and, have massive impact and have huge amounts of extra time and leverage things out, make lots of money, get huge amounts of freedom by using, TikTok, then everyone would be like, oh, I've got to use TikTok. TikTok's the next best thing. Oh, I've got to do this, got to do that. How easy is it? Blah, blah, blah. And away they go. All of a sudden, all they've actually done is make their own business more complicated. They've added more complexity. They've added another content stream they've got to work on, another this, another that. They've got to drag people in to do the editing and the posting, and then there's all of the content creation behind the scenes. And so as a net result, what we always tend to find is the more people do in business, the more opportunities the business owner tries to take, the more complex they actually make their business. And as a net result, the complexity equals more avenues to slow things down, to make change much more slower. And a great example is the academic world that we're all formally trained in. It takes a long, long time for the cogs of academia world in universities to actually turn, to make changes to a like the health science school of what they're actually teaching, what they do, etc. To bring in the latest research and development into curriculums in university is a very, very slow process. Why? Because they've got way too many people doing way too many avenues. They take too long, too many meetings. And so as a net result, everything slows down, right? And it's not the best way to build or grow a business. So the thing that you have to be able to keep your finger on the pulse on as an efficient and effective business owner is we must work off that heading that I used for this podcast, that quite simply, simplify to multiply. You need to make sure that, if I take a sidestep for a moment, I remember only probably the last election, one of the political parties made a bit of a pledge saying they wouldn't bring in another piece of legislation unless they repealed a previous legislative requirement. In other words, there's too much red tape with some of the words they used, and they would only bring in some other piece of legislation if they had first gotten rid of at least one other, so that they weren't going to make the system more complicated. They weren't going to have more laws. They weren't going to have more hoops to jump through. They were actually going to simplify it at any stage and all the time, and that was one of their promises. And that's actually a really smart way to look at your own business. How can you actually simplify what you're doing right now? Is it, if you look at marketing, is your marketing message actually streamlined in all areas? What you say to your clients as private clients, is that the same marketing message that you give to referral channels like doctors and specialists and surgeons? Is that the same marketing message that you put out there in your digital footprint? Right? Is what you do and say congruent in those avenues? Or do you try and be everything to everyone? Because the more you try and do in so many different areas, the more you actually complicate the story, the more you complicate the message. And the more complicated the message, the more complicated and much greater chance there is that the message can get twisted a little bit like Chinese whispers. So what we need to do is we need to be efficient and effective. We need to be short and sharp and punchy with what we say and what we do. That's the whole form of being efficient and being effective. But we need to do that in a simplified way. We need to be able to use less words, less vibrato, less like jargon. We've got to be able to simplify everything down on every single level, because ultimately we're going to have to simplify to multiply. If you look at some of the great companies, and when I mean great, I don't mean necessarily the best tasting, like McDonald's type of thing in that respect, but if you look at hamburgers and McDonald's are the absolute pinnacle in this industry. Are they the best hamburgers? No. Are they the most tasty? No. Are they the healthiest? No. Are they? No. But are they the smartest in the way that they have it systemized, efficiently and effective, simplified to the nth degree? Absolutely. You always make sure now, like if you get a hamburger, you get the exact same amount of onions, because the machine has it there and they just twist it and it puts the exact same amount of onions each and every time. They have simplified that process beyond any other realm. You don't have someone beating the meat patties and making them like you do at a gourmet hamburger place. You don't have some special grill that, is the, drains the fat and that type of stuff. It's not like that. You don't have all the little intricate parts to change around the taste. They know what their market is. They know their niche. And as a net result, it is all about fast food, right? That's the whole premise of it. So they've simplified every avenue of this process down to the nth degree so they can multiply this and scale it and do more of it in a shorter time frame. So they deliver consistency, whether it's consistently good quality of food. That's another debate we're going to have another time. But ultimately, at the end of the day, they've done exactly this. They've simplified to multiply. So have a think about it in your own business. Could you, and I dare say the answer is yes, we all could and should actually simplify down our booking process. All right? It's not just, we allow them to book online so we don't have to take any, we don't have people on the phones, etc. It's not just as simple as that. Excuse the pun. We have to actually break down the process to get out the information we need in the shortest time possible so that we're efficient and effective. Are there avenues that we're double handling that we need to stop? If you turn your attention to your marketing, do we need to be in a situation where we need to simplify our marketing message down? Are we actually in a process where we're trying to market across 12 different pathologies at once? And so the same audience are hearing 12 different messages all the time. That's not creating a simple process to be able to multiply and build from. That's creating a convoluted, mixed message, and people start to not pay attention when it's a different message that doesn't resonate with them and their needs. All right, think about your team. Do we have the onboarding process overly convoluted? Can we make it a lot simpler for that to occur? What about our mentoring pathways and our professional development? Is that even structured, or is it just haphazard and therefore takes up ultimately a lot more time and effort with not driving the best result? Is there a way for us to simplify the initial assessment process to be more efficient on time, but still deliver an even better, more effective outcome? They're the types of things that we need to be able to look at all the time and go by that saying of simplify to multiply. It literally is become amazing, world-beating, remarkable. Remarkable is a great word here. What's remarkable about the one or two things that you do for clients that no one else does? Be remarkable in those areas. Simplify your message, simplify your marketing, simplify your team approach and your development, your growth pathway. In many respects, this is about doing less and having more. It always works out this way. So guys, make a list now, a simple short list to what are the things we need to be doing right now to put this in place to get the best bang for buck and scale as we need to. Because ultimately, every single one of us needs to understand if we really want to grow and scale as we need to, we have to simplify first to be able to scale. So simplify to multiply. Go and get it done. You'll see a massive change and improvement in everything that you do. Simplify to multiply. It's the way forward for all of us. I'll talk to you again very soon. Hey guys, thank you very much for listening to another episode of the Profitable Practice Podcast. I would love nothing more than for you to be able to leave a review. I get so much joy out of listening and reading the amazing things that you guys say about this. So please subscribe to our channel, leave a review, and share it with your friends. Let's get some more fantastic information out there so all of us can grow the industry together. Cheers for now.